Hello everyone, I'm AD Ramsey of Davita Handcraft Soap. Today we're going to make huevos and chiles. Yum. So turn on your gas stove. If you don't have a gas stove, you can do this in the oven. But I just plop it right on top of my stove. I don't use a pan or any fancy tricks. Just go ahead and let it sit there until it starts to blister. You'll hear it doing a little crack, rackle, and roll. And just give it a little turn. And you can see it start blistering. If you look at it real close while it's doing this process, it almost looks like it's growing scales. It's so creepy. But check it out if you're into that. So let it get super dark. That's where the flavor is going to come from. And once we get finished with it and it gets that nice coating on the top, you plop it into a bowl and you're going to let it sit there and put a piece of plastic over it, or you can also put a plate over it because you want that steam to loosen up the skin so you can take it right off. This does not take that long, and just take it off and it should be ready to handle. It shouldn't be too hot. And some people run theirs under the water, their chilies under the water, but I don't. I just take the skin off because I don't want to rinse off that nice charcoal flavor that you've worked so hard to achieve. Now, it all depends on how hot you want your chili. And remember, the bigger the size of chili, the less hot it is. The small chilies that are hot. But this is a Poblano chili. It has a little kick to it, but nothing crazy. I'm going to take the seeds out because I'm not adding this to anything else. And the salsa that I will be using has chilies in it as well. So I don't want it to be too hot. So I'm just going to wipe off the seeds very easily with a piece of paper towel. Again, I don't want to use the water. You very well could, but I don't want to rinse off that nice charred flavor. And there's the end result. Now, this is a horrible mistake. You should not cut things on the plate. I know that you use your knife to cut your food on your plate, but professionally, use a cutting board. You're still doing the prep part. Don't do like me, but this was just for me. I wasn't doing it for anybody, so I was not being a professional. I'm just chopping it right here on the plate. You do yours cute and do it on a cutting board. So moving to the next stage, we're going to crack a few eggs. You can use as many eggs as you like. I'm going to use 3 eggs because that's how many I usually eat in one serving. Yes, I said it, 3 eggs. I know people usually eat 2, but I'm a big girl. I'm just adding a little bit of water just to give it that fluffiness. Of course, if you want to have an even richer taste, you can use milk or heavy whipping cream, whatever you like. But I'm just using just a little bit of water. And if you tilt the bowl while you're whisking it with a prong fork, it'll give it that little bit of airiness, aeration, if you will. Now we're going to go over and put it into our non-stick skillet. This is my egg pan. I usually just use it for eggs. And this one I actually don't abuse, and I make sure I use a rubber spatula. Now I'm pulling from the sides and just tipping it. This is also how you make a French omelet. You can very well stuff it with whatever you like, but if you move it from the sides, it cooks in the middle without browning it. When we were in culinary art school, this was actually a test because we had to make eggs but not have them brown on the bottom. Ooh la la, how is it? Ooh la la, le fatigue. I think that's it. I have turned off the heat and I'm going to cover it with a lid. At this point, we're going to add a little bit of cheese, not a whole lot, but you can put as much or as little as you like, or no cheese at all, of course. And I will cover it back with the lid and let the residual heat finish melting the cheese. There you go. This is what it looks like. When you're working with a great non-stick pan, it just slides right out the pan, and we're not going to do anything fancy. If I would have wanted to put the chilies inside, flip it over and make it into an omelet, I could have, but I'm using the chilies today really as a vegetable to go with my eggs. Usually I use Brussels sprouts. This here is a mixture that I picked up at the market at our local Latino store. It tastes so good, and they have, medium and hot, and this is medium, which to me is spicy, but it has those same charred chilies and charred onions and charred tomatoes. It's just an awesome salsa. I'm just going to add a couple of limes for the acid and wipe down the plate. And here's the finished product. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you like the shenanigans that go on this station, please consider subscribing. Have a great day. Bye.